Welcome to part 3 of your heat end of unit review. I'm going over the answers. So forced air heating versus hot water heating. So page 235 is a great picture of that. And so the difference between the two is significant. So in a hot water heating situation, this is in older homes, you will have radiators in the rooms. A boiler room in the basement, a boiler heats up the water, and then the water goes through a radiator, and then the hot water heats air in the room. Forced air heating, you take the water out of the situation. So you have a furnace, usually in the basement. The furnace heats the air. Then the air is circulated throughout the house. So this is much more efficient because it takes a lot of energy to heat up water, and it's safer. These have radiators, which when you touch them can be very hot and kind of dangerous. Next, how does insulation work? Again, at the bottom of page 235 is a neat little chart that talks about the concept of R values, or sometimes we call them RSI values. SI stands for System International, which is the metric system. So the higher the R value, the better it insulates. So usually these values are on a chart, and it's based on 1%. So the R value, for example, glass has an R value of 7 per centimeter. And when you look at that, you'll say, whoa, that's a low number. And it shouldn't surprise you because glass is fairly dense and isn't the greatest insulator. It would be an okay conductor. Okay. What makes a good insulator is something called dead air space. If you can trap air into something. Describe 3 alternative forms of energy that can be used to produce thermal energy. This is another way of saying heat energy. And so 3 alternative energy forms. Well, your book describes several on pages 238 all the way to page 244. So wind is one, geothermal energy would be another good one. Active solar heating is another one. Hydro power, which is through water. Biomass, where you burn wood or dead parts of organisms, is another. So make sure you're familiar with some of these alternative forms of energy. Next, describe 3 non-renewable. It's the same kind of question. Non-renewable, as opposed to renewable. So non-renewable is dealing with fossil fuels, and there is natural gas, coal, and oil, which are our major fossil fuels. And of course, they're running out, which is why they're called non-renewable. So they're running out. We're using them up faster than we can make them. Create a chart to illustrate the 3 ways heat can be transferred. Your chart should include a description of the heat transfer. So they want you to use the terms conduction, convection, and radiation to explain how this will happen. Part 4 coming up in a minute. Part 4.